Hello everyone and welcome to another casual review. Today I'm talking about Mega Man 9, or that's 9 for you English speakers. We are in uncharted territory here, folks, as I have never played Mega Man 9 compared to the first 8 Mega Man games that I've played before. This game came out in 2008, that means we took almost a decade hiatus between Mega Man 8 and Mega Man 9, and I believe that the developers just didn't really know what to do with this series. Now I'm just speculating here, I'm not sure, but I would imagine that Mega Man 8 didn't do so hot on the PlayStation 1 and the Sega Dreamcast, so they didn't want to touch the series for a while, and when it was time to revitalize the series with Mega Man 9, they decided to go back to the glory days of the NES Mega Man games, as this game is also back in an 8-bit style. It's almost like they just sat in a board meeting thinking like, alright, what is our most successful Mega Man game? Mega Man 2? That's the one everyone loves? Okay, let's just make another Mega Man 2. There is no slide, which I'm absolutely devastated about, and there's no charge shot. It's just, we went straight back to Mega Man 2. You can't use the shoulder buttons to swap your abilities. You have to pause in order to switch them. There is still a currency from some of the more modern Mega Man games, but the bolts don't buy you anything permanent. They are more just items that help you out, like extra lives and beat to save you from when you fall off a pit. And there are the E-Tanks and the M-Tanks make a reoccurrence. There's even some really expensive items, but they still only work for one level. So I bought one for 100 of these bolts, which is actually like quite a lot. I had to save up for a couple of levels to buy it, but it reduced the amount of damage I took by half. So I definitely had to save that for the very last level. In terms of game design, I guess you could say it feels a little more modern, but it is still quite difficult, and with this Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, I do not have the ability to rewind, which I've come to really lean on when I played these old NES Mega Man games. So this game took me a little longer to play through just because I had to revert back to the checkpoint every time. There is kind of a plot, and I thought that it would be a little more in depth after the intro, but basically Dr. Light gets falsely accused of committing a crime and gets arrested. There are a couple of other scenes after you defeat a set amount of these evil robot masters, and one of them kind of touches on how these robots who serve a purpose for mankind have an expiration date and then they are scrapped. And so Dr. Wily convinces them that they still have a purpose after they have fulfilled their initial job, and he kind of convinces them to fight for him. And I liked this kind of idea of these robots deciding to live after their intended purpose, but I don't feel like they really went anywhere with it. We just found out why there are evil robots, but not any conclusion to that story. Basically, Mega Man still goes through and destroys them all, so there's not really like any moral to be taken from this plot line. Nothing really develops from Dr. Light either until after the very final boss and before the final credits start rolling. In terms of abilities, we've seen most of these before in some way or another. Of course, there is the Leaf Shield equivalent. Once again, I feel like every Mega Man game needs this ability. Now, this one is a little more useful than the base Leaf Shield. It is more like the Junk Shield in Mega Man 7 that I loved so much, where it will automatically do some damage to anybody it comes into contact with, but it still holds up for a long time. So it is great for those enemies that shoot straight out of the pit unexpectedly and make you fall into the pit, because it will destroy them before they're able to touch you. Now, this won't work against enemies that take multiple hits, as they will puncture your shield, but as far as like a lot of the projectiles go and the enemies that are one-hit kill, it is extremely beneficial. Plug Man's ability is basically like Bubble Man's. Tornado Man's is basically like the Toad Man's Rain. You know, there's a lot of repeats. There's the Heat Man, or whatever the fire equivalent guy's ability is, that just shoots 3 shots in 3 different directions like a cone. I gotta say though, one of the best abilities in this one that is very cool would be Galaxy Man's, and essentially you shoot this shot once, and then when you press the shoot button once more, it turns into a black hole and sucks up all of the projectiles and enemies around it for a brief period of time. I was initially excited because this is the first boss that I beat, so I thought all of the abilities would be as unique and creative as this one, but this was just the best one out of the bunch, I'd say. You know what? Now that I think about it, Galaxy Man is probably my favorite track musically and level as well. On the topic of evil robot masters, up to this point, all of the evil robot masters have been men. We finally have our first robot woman, Splash Woman, so even women can be evil robot masters now, and I'm glad we actually have some female representation in terms of bad guys finally. She's actually kind of a cool boss design as well, as she's like this robot mermaid, which is pretty cool. As far as her ability goes, though, it's pretty lackluster. It just shoots this electric trident forward, and it just seems to be just another boring projectile that you use against the effective robot master. Now, just like way back in Mega Man 2, we have to do a single go of Wily's Fortress, all levels in one run. We don't have time to go back to the shop and buy new items and refill our ammo. We just do it all in one go and hope that we are able to manage our ammo correctly. You better hope that you saved up a lot of those M tanks too in order to refill your ammo for the very last level. One new thing about this game that hasn't been in any other Mega Man games would be achievements, and I wasn't quite sure where to go to look up these achievements, but occasionally I would notice like if I did a level really quickly, or if I defeated like a robot master without using the weapon that is powerful against them, this random achievement would pop up from the top of the screen. So that's nice if you're looking for a little something extra to do with this Mega Man game. Overall, I actually am a little bummed out that they decided to go back to this whole retro style. Part of the fun with this Mega Man marathon that I'm going through is seeing all the new iterations in each game, like what's the new thing in this game, what's the new gimmick, and at least give me my slide and my charge shot, because I use those quite a lot whenever I play a Mega Man game, and this just feels more like a callback if someone is wanting to feel nostalgic about the Mega Man 2 days. And since I'm playing through this marathon, I had just like recently played through Mega Man 2, so I'm not feeling nostalgic about it. I want to move forward, not just play through a callback. I think I'm going to give it the same score that I gave most of the Mega Man games, that being 3 out of 5. And I know that that's kind of the point of these Mega Man games, is they all play actually pretty similar, but I still think that my favorite Mega Man game up to this point would be Mega Man 7 for the Super Nintendo. I'm curious to see what Mega Man 10 entails. I don't know anything about it, so I'm hopping in completely blind, just like I did for this one. I just hope that they don't stick with this whole retro style callback anymore. Well guys, that's it for me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about Mega Man 9 or the Mega Man series in general, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye!